why do you think Trust Wallet became number one on the market right now?
I hope in 5 years, 1 billion.
What's the main goal you want to achieve?
The mobile wise, we just passed 200 million downloads. We're improving on the trading experiences.
It sounds like an amazing finish. As you see, we are doing this online format today because we have very interesting guests in our Google Meet this time room today. So please welcome Eowyn Chen, the CEO of Trust Wallet. Welcome.
Thank you so much. Hi, Pavlo, Dmitry, and all the audience. It's great to be here. And hopefully that we will have some interesting to share and then that can benefit all of you.
Exactly. This is what the plan is. And of course, Pavel, give to the listeners a couple of words. Everyone already knows you, but it's still worth to say a couple of good words at the beginning.
Yeah, Eowyn, pleasure to see you. Pleasure to see you here. Thank you for coming here. I think it will be so insightful discussion. And yes, I'm a CEO of Kolo, and we build the financial app that unifies fiat and crypto into the one application with a Visa card and IBAN accounts. And so,
Yeah, thank you for having me here.
so let's probably start with some questions. And I have the question mostly, what are the latest metrics of the Trust Wallet? Because what is the market share? Because from my perspective, it's the biggest wallet right now, or you're the top one, or what's your competition with others?
Yeah, so we are the largest mobile wallet specifically. Of course, we also have an extension product that we're improving. The mobile wise, we just passed 200 million downloads. And from the download market share, especially in January, since January this year, it has been growing really strong, almost 40% global downloads on iOS and Androids tend to be with us. So the funny thing is we see less market influence, especially on the Android side of the geographical of the user base, that it's not the market ups and downs that kind of drives the growth of the products, but it's actually relatively more steady. So it's one of the interesting time that we get to see that, hey, the users might not come in just for the traditional crypto market trends and then speculations and trading. There might be something else that's way deeper, that's worthwhile to dig into. Potentially, that's a much bigger user base and opportunity for our whole industry to become more useful to the society.
I also wanted to add one more thing. I think it's kind of more deeper question, but why do you think Trust Wallet became number one on the market right now? So, what was the main purpose of driving your wallet forward to the actual top position?
Mm, mm, mm. That's a great question. To be honest, I think I feel very humbled by it because there's a lot of the work that we can do, but at the same time, it's ultimately the user's choice. That's not something that we can control or kind of rely on. But if I were to attribute to potentially what we might be doing right, I think one important thing is that we have stayed in the game long enough and consistent to deliver what might solve the user's problem or give them what they want might be needed in the different kind of conditions throughout the past 7 or now 8 years.
Almost eight. Working forever, guys. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, like we're a lot of the people's first volunteer. They come into
You have one of these people here. Like I remember back at my
Yeah.
at the beginning of my crypto journey, I had one of the competitor wallets. Not
Yeah.
gonna, drop the name because I didn't really like it. So I remember I was just shown this wallet and people were telling me, yeah, you should use this exact one. And I was like, why does it look so bad? And why should I use it? And then I found out about Trust Wallet and you have literally all EVMs, everything in the same spot. And I was like,
Mhm.
okay, this is my choice because it's simple, looks good, and all the people use it around me. And
Yeah.
so basically, yeah, and it just spreading and spreading. And right now, I don't have any crypto friend who doesn't have Trust Wallet. It just looks
Right.
insane.
Yeah. So the funny thing is we actually don't spend many marketing acquisition dollars. Most of it is exactly to a point is a word of the mouth spread. And to be honest, that's the best advocates that you can get is the word of the mouth of the users that spread organically through a network effect. So that's also one of the best retention strategy as well. And so we have the users trust, they're the first choice, and then we try to keep things secure. We try to make things easy. So to be honest, we're not expecting anybody to just use one product for a category. It makes a lot of sense that there are different needs, different contexts, people use different products. But we find that many of the users at the end of the day, no matter where they dabble, like going on a journey, going on a trip, adventures, they go back to Trust Wallet for home. There are always ads that's there. There's always something over there. And then especially when the market got uncertain and cooling down, then you no longer want to take so much risk out there. Then people trying to find a more trusting and safer place and they go back to trust. So we tend to actually do even better in a more bearish market condition. Um, for the more kind of speculative crowds. And then we also got so much users that are actually not coming to crypto for pure speculation. They're using that for payment purposes, for remittance purposes, for holding and hedging inflations with the assets that they have. And they become such a strong, loyal, and high retention user base. And then continues to give us as a gram to support us to be able to make the product even more useful. So you mentioned about EVMs, but then for the past few years, we actually support 100 chains and 60% of them are not EVMs. So all the Solana's, Bitcoin natives, and Chuang, which has a huge user base, Sui, Aptos, those are all move kind of language ecosystem are all supported. Um, and so we try to give people a better homes place that people can continue to do more with it. But I think our space right now in the industry move beyond just chains, honestly, even though we see more chains coming up every day. But I think it has to be, and is also transitioning to more application utility driven. App chains is coming, how to make the tech stack from the bottom of the chain to the front end of it to cater to a particular usage scenario and use cases better, tends to create the most competitive product experiences. So from that front, I think we are also thinking about what might be the utilities that the industry have product market fit that we can better surface that to the tremendous user base that we have so that the people can continue to discover the usefulness of the crypto more than just the trading aspects of it. Of course, it's important, but there's also more that's up and coming.
Mhm. This thing right now, which you said about like covering the entire market, is extremely, extremely interesting from the business point of view, just because you're getting new chains onboarded, like feels like every day. And how do you feel your user base gonna grow? Like, so what's your current number when it comes to user base, and what's your expectation for, let's say, next 5 years when it comes to its growth?
I think our user base growth is what I hope the industry's user base grows. I hope in 5 years, 1 billion. Let's just aim for something at a completely different level. Yeah.
So keeping fingers crossed for BTC costing 1 million and Trust Wallet having 1 billion users.
Definitely, definitely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think BTC will be important to drive it, but I think even more importantly is that do we get more utilities? So since Pavlo that you're working on like the payment space, right? So how I think stablecoin itself is a killer app that our industry find product market fit. So how to leverage the technology besides the value appreciation store of that value, which Bitcoin provides and any other of the tokens provides that, how can we also use a stablecoin as a format to better allow day-to-day finance people's life across and border better is what we're looking at next.
And it's so insightful. And as far as you mentioned that you're like a top one mobile wallet, what's your current focus on the Trust Wallet? As far as your seer, your visionary, like what's your main goal like to achieve in the near future? It's a product wise, maybe you want to grow in the features, or it's a community. I don't know what the main goal you want to achieve.
Yeah. Um, there are probably a million things that we should do, but then I was chatting with a lot of founders and CEOs doing the token. Something I think we share in common is that it's so easy to get distracted. So every day, the daily job is to, out of the operational details and the math and the million things that can distract the attention from, is to how to better consistently remind back to what is the most important fundamentals. I think Trust Wallet being a product company, then the fundamentals too has to be getting the product right. And so from the product perspective, there were three aspects I share with the team that I think we're focusing on, and I think two are what we're really trying to hone in on for this year. The first one is I think we're at a pivotal moment in our industry from the tech specs perspective and also the technology and also people's mind share that we in this year or a year and a half to two, we will bring Web2 UX to Web3 tech. People have often been criticizing, hey, like the clunky wallet experiences onboarding is the blocker to mass adoption.
It's still love criticizing crypto projects for their UI.
Yes, yes. So, and then of course, like at the forefront, people will be thinking about wallet as the onboarding steps to a lot of it. I think we're at this moment that this problem statement can be taken away completely by bringing the Web2 UX on Web3 X. And there were three angles to that. I think it's key management, gas abstraction, and chain abstraction. Because those are usually the specific blockchain areas that really get people tripled. We got enough of the key management solutions out there. Passkey, MPC, they all social. That's kind of behind the social locking. There is going to be a little bit of the trade-off between how complete a self-custody is versus like a scale up the grade to semi-custody solution. So I think that ultimately for custody, self-custody has to be there, but then there also can be more options that provided for people for better onboarding. So that problem key management will be solved. The second is the gas abstraction. So we're going to support 7702 for the EVM ecosystem very quickly. This will allow people to not be trickled with that. I just received 100 USDT from someone else, and now I wanted to send it to another person. I don't have ease. I cannot send, right? So now you can actually use your USDT to pay, and you can use your TWT and a couple of other major tokens to pay. That's the familiar Web2 experiences, right? Like I have this money, like I'm gonna pay for it. So that's what we call like gas abstraction with the EIP.
The biggest challenge right now in the market, I think, for the newcomers.
Yeah, there are some solutions, but they were like a very centralized approach. I think this is an on-chain technical solutions that can also at scale solving this problem. So that's why gas abstraction, we see the light in the tunnel. And in 2 weeks, we're going to support that very soon. Yeah. And then it's a chain abstraction, right? So we're talking about 100 chains. Ultimately, I don't think users care which chain it is. The backend technology should just go behind. Like who use a Web2 product care about if it's building on Rust or Go? Like who cares? Ultimately, it is about what is the performance, like what's the utility, what's the actual value. So I think we're at the stage that we have to move beyond that and then focusing on what's the application utility for the industry. Then how to make the chain feel actually invisible is going to be very important to be able to navigate it around. There are some solutions, but I think it probably needs a little bit more time to test it. But again, this year, easy to use experiences, this will get knocked down. This was on Web3 tech aspects. I think there are so many fundamental without just Web3 tech, like UI UX fundamentals that we could have improved on. So the team just recently delivered a complete overhaul of onboarding. Remember that you have to save all your secret phrase, passkey, all those things, and you'll be like, why the heck I get myself into it? Right? Conversion rate is like terrible, 10 to 20%, like from the downloads over. Recently, we make it like a 1-2 click experience solution for you to create a wallet, and then the conversion rate from download to actually get to do something becomes 85%. So I actually don't think that.
So from 20 to 85 just by removing this entire seed phrase stuff, right?
See first and a lot of the steps to it, right? Because every step that you are having, you're telling people that it's a moment for you to decide, do you want to continue or drop, right? So it's not like a science. It's just like traditional UI UX design and really having the user empathy and thinking from what does the user need at that moment and honing on that refinement of that process. So that has been delivered, and then you can experience that and let me know what you think. And then more than that is that, hey, it's not just that you finish setting up the wallet and let me drop you into an ocean and you have no idea what to do, right? So user guidance on what to do next is also very important if you're expecting new people coming in and they don't have the context, what I'm supposed to do to get the assets in. So all those little refinement steps are product and design continuous improvements that we're working on delivering. So that's where the easy to use, but then it has to be useful. Who wants to use, yes, I can one click into anything, but it's like useless. I don't want to do anything, right? Like, so then it's not going to make it work either. So besides easy to use, making it useful is also what we're focusing on. But making it useful is gonna depending on what the industry has to provide to the users. So ultimately, how to help people make money, how to help people move money better, how to help people save money better, and lastly is how to help people spend the money better. I think we're gonna evolve around those four essential financial utilities in people's daily life. So we're improving on the trading experiences. Then people for top 10 chains, basically they can go anywhere that they want. I tell the team is that any token swappable is going to be the end goal that we want people to do. So that's the first step towards a centralized exchange experiences that ultimately that people can get when the gas stuff is also knocking away. Besides making money, there's also what if I don't want to trade? How to passively earn better. So recently we also launched stablecoin earn product. So if you have USDT, USDC, you're just waiting on the sideline that you can deposit and withdraw anytime and earn yield on it. And we saw that there are about 10 trillion USDT of our users' assets not moving for 6 months last year, September. It was a bullish market, right? People are not actually thinking about using that for trading. Then they're holding it for another reason. Why not give user better utility so that they can get yield from it? And this is much better than their savings account in the bank, right? So then if we can get that happen, then it makes non-risk seeking users also find crypto products useful for them in their risk averse kind of financial lives. So this just launched, and funny enough, in one day we saw the TVL just pass crypto.com. So people really want this and really using this. So we're gradually adding more and more utilities into people's life. We're definitely proactively exploring spending as well. I know that Pablo, that would be falling into your category.
Yeah, and actually, like, I wanted to underline this point when you mentioned, like, what you guys have focused on, and what about the spending? How trustworthy moving forward to make people spend their cryptos on a daily basis, I would say.
I think I'm remaining optimistically hopeful, curious, but still researching. This is the stage that I'll be honest. The recent data that I got is that since 2017, there are about 47 crypto cards being issued from by different issuers, brands, exchanges, etc. And this is relying on the Visa and the Mastercard network. The data that I got is out of the cards open, less than 40% of them are used even one time per month. If this data is true, I don't think the crypto payment with this data proves product market fit yet. Because payment is supposed to be a much more high frequency of the usage of the product, right? It's not that, hey, I'm saving money once a month or for doing DCAing on a weekly or monthly or quarterly basis. Spending is a daily activity. And if I imagine someone average spending like 3 times per day per month, it should be 90 times. And if crypto cards can even get a 1 out of 90, then it means that people doesn't really want to spend the crypto. Right. So I think there's a lot more details to be able to drill in. Is it a product problem? Is it a demand problem? Is it a demand by geography and user type problem? Right. Or it's the type of the assets that people want to spend on the crypto is not what we think people are spending. So I'm still in this kind of a researching phase, and understanding and drilling into a lot more details. And maybe this is where to pick Pavlo's perspective and the data that he has seen is where exactly into what kind of the users and what kind of crypto assets to be able to spend actually has the potentials for product market fit. And then we wanted to launch a product that people actually use rather than fulfilling our ego and say that, see, crypto payment ultimately comes, but oops, nobody uses. Then that's the last thing that I wanted to do.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Because like Avalanche recently launched the card like MetaMask, like each I don't know months announcing launching their card. And yes, I do agree with you that it's so narrow audience that use the crypto cards for spending because the thing is, um, like not a lot of companies. I talked a lot with a lot of companies that issue the cards, so like crypto cards, but they say that it's the future of crypto spending, like crypto is being adopted, but still, like I think that it's at least a 5 year. We have at least a 5 year because people are just adopting crypto. And the people that spend crypto, it's people that earn crypto in crypto space. And I think it's so narrow audience because it's the people that use the P2P, for example, that for selling. It's not the people that do it for everyday trading or something like this. It's even less amount of it's even less audience that are like seeking for the solution to spend the crypto because mostly like people are buying the crypto on ramping, yeah, but rarely off ramping because they are accumulating their Bitcoin and so on. That's why we are not only focusing on the crypto spending, we provide also the fiat accounts so you can deposit with like USD or euro. You can do the remittances in your local currencies, and so it's not only crypto thing. So yeah, because it's a really narrow audience. But I think in a timeline of 5 and 10 years, when they're all the freelancers, the companies are been adopting the crypto payments because it's much cheaper. It's like much more convenient to pay salaries, like for the payrolls at least. Yeah, because a lot of outsourcing companies have like I don't know, more than 100 employees, and they how to say they earn in crypto from their from worldwide clients. They do the invoices in crypto. Why not to pay to their employees in crypto? Yeah, and so there by like 2022, I think there was a big issue with off ramping crypto, but now with this adoption of the crypto cards, with the adoption of licensed off ramps, I think there will be we will see the bright future of the crypto payrolls and crypto remittances. Uh,
Yeah, that's actually a super interesting and very insightful. When you're just saying that, you're right. Like maybe the crypto adoption right now works better for people working in crypto because the significantly proportion of their assets and their wealth are in the crypto format. They don't get much fiat to spend. Then you will be choosing whichever is less assets appreciating potential to spend, right? Maybe stable coin or maybe out of the other kind of a coins of that people's portfolio. But if a user said that, hey, I only have 10% of my assets in crypto, and these are supposed to be either safe haven that hedge inflation for long-term holding, or this is supposed to be my, you know, appreciation investment. Why do I want to spend that versus my really cheap fiat? That's depreciation.
so it's accumulating. They are accumulating crypto, but not spending it. So,
Yeah. Yes. So I think, yeah, then you really inspire me. I think we needed to find again the right audience group. Um, maybe just the payroll purposes, like for payroll, and then it's your daily spending card, and then be okay and be patient with that. If this is the reality, then the adoption of the cards will be slower. Then people think that, oh, the card is there, everybody's supposed to be using it. That kind of scenario. Yeah.
Yeah, but actually, don't you guys think that here's just a thing to explain to the guy, as you said, who has like 10% of his assets in crypto and the rest in fiat, and it's way easier for them to use fiat. Just explain to them that if they put bigger portion of their assets to crypto, they will be easily available to spend it, to stake it, to earn from it, to play around with it. So I think like the biggest thing with the payrolls for crypto is just the thing that you can tell to the user that crypto is no longer just this small portion of your assets that you invest, forget about them, and just, think for the future. It's the thing that you can use on your daily basis to use your transactions, to have them faster, to send money to your mother on other part of the planet, to send money to your friends, and so on and so forth, and have it in a very, very convenient way with a great AI, with a great UI. And this is, I think, one of the most important things, because people right now still think that crypto is bulky, very, very complicated. You need to finish Harvard University in order to understand how to use this or that wallet. And, before this, like before people start to understand that it's no longer complicated as I don't know, like astrophysics or whatever, you can already go to the market and actually use it, and use it in a very, very convenient way. Then people gonna start using it way, way more often.
Yeah, I think you also have a point too, right? Like, by having the product, can it solve the psychological chicken and egg problem first, so that then we can potentially see the adoption? I think ultimately to give people a easy experiences is a seamless on-off ramp experiences. Because if people feel like I'm getting into crypto, I have a harder time to get off. Then, of course, that people will be cautious to even go in first. But then how can we create an environment and scenario to allow people say, here's your crypto, here's your fiat, see what you can do with those. Then naturally, we hope crypto will win in that competition, and then find out that it is much more valuable and useful if the assets stay in the crypto format. But then you also get an easy way to fiat if it has to be in the context where fiat is leveraged and used for that particular context. Then gradually, maybe we can increase the proportion of the asset percentages for people's whole wealth. Then you will get to the point that crypto might become the denomination of the norm. Um, so yeah, Dimitri, this is based on what you were saying. I think that maybe that should be the idea if we're working in this fiat payment and crypto world, what we're aiming as a mission to accomplish.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And actually, I also got the point. Like, we've been talking a lot about onboarding new users, having people join crypto. And how did your journey look at the beginning? Let's take a couple of minutes just to kind of go to your personal experience of how you joined the market and how you became the CEO of Trust Wallet.
Oh, I got some really untraditional path. But could be some
Sounds
interesting story.
very spicy. I love it.
Yeah, from the product perspective. Um, so I first heard about crypto probably in the negative lens because I was working on Wall Street as a consultant to in New York for some of the banks, and crypto was seen as one of the fintech technology, and that was a Mongol hack back in 2014. So the news was playing around, and I'll be like, oh, okay, there is this crypto thing, but then they got an exchange that got hacked. So that was my first exposure. And then I dabbled in a lot of different areas. In 2017, I was in San Francisco. So half of the guys in the city are talking about some sort of shitcoin that I see. That was kind of like you're going to a supermarket and then the grandma are talking about buying stocks. I'm naturally a more of a contrarian person. So when everybody was like very gung ho on something, my natural inclination temperament is to be a little bit skeptical about it. So I was like, I'm not sure whether I will understand something fundamental enough when there were so much emotions around back in 2017. So when 2018 came and then the market crashed, I was like, now it's a more interesting time to see if crypto is here to stay or legit or has some fundamentals. Um, and I happen to know a couple of contacts that are really, really solid people, great builders in 2018. And then they were still very much down in the trenches and they're believing it and building. So I think the trust to the space first come with the trusting the people that I see are still standing in the game. And that piqued my interest. I wanted to dig further. This is serendipitous things come is that I was hosting a Bible study in our apartment in San Francisco. And one day the CEO of Binance Labs brought two girls into our Bible study. And one of them was the co-founder of Binance. So that's how I kind of get to know her in the beginning. And we had a conversation. She is amazing in being able to really articulate that blockchain has the opportunity to allow the free flow of value to go with the information that internet doesn't achieve, because internet allow the free flow of information but not the value of the information to go along with it. And that just clicked my mind very well, because when I was working as the management consultant on Wall Street, I know how the text behind the scene are just very, very outdated, not connected. And it does make sense that the modern day fintech that we see it in the traditional space are more like an internet skin on top of a really outdated system. So blockchain actually can be the true internet financial systems to make it happen. So, and then she said that thinking about how big the internet industry is and thinking about how big the finance industry is, isn't that exciting to combine both? I'll be like, yes, I'm sold. But more than that, I think we talk a lot about financial history and why the technology, and also coming out of the 2008, the dot-com, why there is the need for this kind of transformation that gives the right soil to potentially allow the technology and adoption to happen, at least from the financial spaces, right? We definitely know that blockchain can be used for supply chain and many other areas, but finance seems to be the closest enough for the adoption of it. Um, so I first joined is I actually took a 30% pay cut, and I went from a title of a GM to be her personal assistant. Um, and I just wanted to learn, and then do whatever things. That time was when Binance was 1 year old. There are lots of things happening. I remember every 2 weeks I have to wake up in the middle of the night in the US, because their exchange technology has to upgrade. And then that was not on chain. So you have to pause the system, you have to pause the trading, you have to tell everybody that, hey, funds are safe, like no hack, don't worry about it. It's just we're
Just update.
you're gonna get yeah, it was like a lot of those very fundamental stuff, but that taught me so much about how you stay users at the forefront of it. And people might consider, hey, just repeating the same message again and again in the different community groups seems to be a low value work, but that's sometimes what it's needed to remain the trust of the user base. And those are all those little details, I think. When I work at Binance from assistant and then later on to lead the marketing team after 4 years in 2022, that was the moment I start to be lost and having a existential crisis in the industry, because that was the round of the bull market where, if you remember, a lot of the sponsorship skills are happening. FTX was around. There was the naming rights of the Miami stadium, and then this sports club, that Super Bowl kind of a game. And I got grilled almost every day that, why are we not doing any sponsorships? Like, how are we approaching those kind of stuff? I realized that my limitation is that I think brand partnership is not my strength, because it's more of an art than something numerically that I can calculate. I'm more of a quantitative type of person. But at the same time, it was very glamorous that I get to deal with Hollywood agents, some of the superstars, football stars out there. And there are a lot to learn, but I was so far away from the industry. These are complete Web 2 stuff that I'm learning, but longer Web 3. That was not the reason why I joined the industry. So I was catching up with the founder of Trust Wallet, because Trust Wallet was acquired by Binance back in 2018. So we're kind of the same cohorts in California that joined the Binance ecosystem. I was like, what are you up to? He said that I'm looking for someone that can help take care of non-product engineering stuff. And be like, I can help you with that. And I just wanted to work with Victor. Like, he's a fantastic guy, very, very solid person, high integrity. And it's always a people's dream is to, for a marketer's dream is to work with a very solid product engineering team, but then doesn't really do much marketing. So I then talked to CZ and E, the two founders. They would be like, yeah, you two can make a good pair. And then I made the switch. So I was like, Victor, I'm gonna support you and build this wallet as a forefront to see more on what's happening on chain. And then he had the change of the life event that he's having the baby and decides to retire after 1 week.
1 week after joining? Well, I don't do this thing.
And he was like, I know that you joined because you want to work with me, and then you can reconsider and be like, sure, I can go back to finance, but then what are you gonna do with the company? But that was the moment. It's like, I feel like it's a great product that if it was disrupted due to the transitions of the founders, then I feel that victors will feel regret about that too. So I'll be like, okay, I will try to keep your business baby continue and alive without even much of the context of the wallet business at all at that time. And so that's how I became the CEO of Trust Wallet. But the first thing I had to deal with has nothing to do with the product, was how to help moving our employees out of the Ukraine and Russia when the war broke out. That was like 2 weeks after I became the CEO. 70% of our employees are in these two regions. So I never thought that I will. My first job as a CEO of a company is to do international events.
Work Europe universe, yeah. I otherwise understand you because I've been doing the same thing when it happened. So like, yeah, that's so nice. And I don't know, it's an inspiring story, really. And talking about the story, like I checked your LinkedIn, and I noticed that you led the Trust Wallet from like being an unprofitable company to being profitable, right? And or no revenue to being profitable, right? That's what is mentioned on your LinkedIn. And I wanted to ask, what is the business model behind Trust Wallet? Well, what have you achieved? And because all of the people that use the Trust Wallet, it's completely free, and they really don't understand how can the non-custodial wallets earn, and what is the business model for them, specifically for Trust Wallet. Can you please?
Yeah.
And also, you mentioned wallet business, and maybe you can also state how Trust Wallet's business is different from the entire wallet business.
Yeah, I think water business is really, really hard. It's a economy of scale game. When you don't get the scale, you basically don't get much revenue. So I describe that we're a B2C product, but B2B business. So we don't charge from the users directly, but we get referral and affiliate fee from the services that we're able to contribute to the user traffic and also the volume. So a lot of the revenue for the referrals might come from, or affiliate fees come from, like the fiat on ramps, the swap services, um, because something very different from exchanges and also from potentially some other wallets angle is that I think wallet ultimately needs to stay as a great UI. The UI needs to be able to wrap. If I think about the industry tech stack, right? You got the chains, which is the bottom. Then you get the application protocol layers, which provides like what is the utility, what might be some of the values being created. Then you get the front end, which is the UI layer, how to present, interact, engage for the utility piece that's ultimately running on a particular chain. And then when people do expansion, they tend to go very vertically down. But fundamentally, what is the UI layer? how to give people the best information presented and the interaction engagements with the dApps layer and the chain layers in the easiest format and in a secure way. So I think Wallet and Trust Wallet will always remain as a great UI layer. We're a small team. There are many kind of the wallets. There are like 5 times, 10 times out of our size. But we want us to focusing on how to build the relationship with the users from the product perspective, well, from the UI sense. And then we partner with the protocol layer, with the applications layer, with the aggregator layers or dApps layer. And then at the bottom is the chain. So we remain as a ultimate abstraction layer or the aggregators of the aggregators out there, but we don't go actually into the football playing field to play the Resi competition ocean with the DEXs, with the aggregator and all those stuffs. So that's why I said that we're a B2B business model, because those are through the partnerships to make it happen. But the ultimate product of the front end layer is a B2C product that give it to people. And speaking about that, there are some other visions that I'm having too, due to the technological changes. I think that people are thinking a lot about AI. I was thinking quite a lot as well. Uh, we don't know what the future of the economy might run on. If I consider blockchain to be a distribution revolution, AI is going to be a production revolution to the world. So if the future of the economy and a lot of the activity engagements might be produced by AI, then the blockchain's opportunity and the role is to figure out how the distributions will happen. Especially how to figure out the distribution, not from the government top down, let me distribute tax, but on the micro level that can continue to incentivize individuals, humans, and agents well. So if that might be the bigger problem to solve from the technological and economic perspective, if wallet stay true to the UI layer, which means that we're always going to be focusing on the relationship with the humans, then the ultimate mission for wallet is to how to be the best personal assistant or the best personal companion that helps human to thrive and plug in into the whole tech stack of no matter that economically is going to be run by the agent-based economy or agent-based workplace or feature-based anymore. So that might come, I don't know when or how long of the time, maybe 3 years, 5 years, 10 years. But then ultimately, technology will become a commodity. Product will become a commodity. And I think what Trust Wallet ultimately hopes to be is to do it through product, services, communications, and the brand to be people's personal companion and help them to navigate in the future of the economic situations. So we will also continue to evolve as well. How to achieve that personal trusted companion relationships, how to leverage AI potentially better, how to cater to the fundamental changes behind the tech stack more. But those might be a little bit more uncertain, ambiguous, and needs to see how the whole bigger context of the technical environment changes. But we focus on one step at a time. How to get Web2 UX first, how to be more useful on the fintech utilities, and then with those two foundations, how to be the most personal, trusted companion.
Yeah, right. You really answered my last question without asking it. So my last question was about the perspectives and role of the AI in the wallets, whether you believe in the automation stuff and everything and the agents, but you really answered it even if I haven't even asked this. Yeah.
I think right now is automation, but even automation can bring a better Web2 UX experiences that realize utilities too. I think a lot of the conversations and development that I'm seeing right now is maybe the future stack is going to build for the agent APIs. Even the future of the features will no longer be the analog that we're seeing right now, but more about how to, if it's a swap feature, let's just say, it becomes just a swap agent. Then how then the wallet agent that represents the users will be able to connect to any of the swap agents out there, but fulfill like Pavlo, Dmitry, your personal goal for whatever your trading needs to be. But then the wallet agent will be your most faithful service that think for your interests that can help you to surface the best option for you. That might be what the future look like, but this can also be completely not realistic. We'll see how technologically developed the space actually becomes, and we will evolve around it.
Yeah, because I'm personally so bullish on the some AI, on the AI management of your assets, like because AI can really how to say, AI can analyze a lot of data and build some kind of, even right now there are startups that create their LLMs to build some kind of different strategies that interact with the protocols. And I think that in a timeline of 3 or 5 years, we will see the shifts when the users will be completely okay to delegate their like 10% of their assets to the fully like automated strategy or to the AI agent that have like a low risk investment thing. And I get some insights from the previous podcast that when the automated elevators appeared, people been scary to use them because before there was people that's been pushing these elevators, and when they became automated, people been scared to use the elevator. But now I would rather use the fully automated elevator that's when some kind of person pushes it. And the same thing with the AI. I think that we have in a timeline of 3 or 5 years, the financial products with their AI integrated that will get a lot of uh, inventions here around the automated yield or automated our personal assistants that have the access to your wallet and some kind of stuff like that around this. And even right now the developments, we see these developments, and at the time we just needed time to adopt this for people to use it.
Yeah, I think both the adoption has to be useful. So some of the agencies that are out there, like it needs to prove its usefulness so that we can get the adoption of the automated elevator is trustworthy enough that you're willing to.
It's technology readiness. Like it's currently it's just the like R&D period. Like yeah, it's not about the adoption, it's just about the R&D whether it works or not. And yeah,
For sure. Yeah. So Dimitri, you were gonna say something earlier.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you, do you see Trust Wallet in the upcoming couple of years, or maybe like in the coming couple of decades, as your personal financial assistant in all realms? Like basically the thing where you just take your phone, hey, Trust Wallet, can you please share with me what's going to be my next investment strategy, or what's going to be my next potential right financial move so I won't get broke or some stuff like that?
Yeah, or sometimes I basically consider if you do get a personal assistant, how you wanted to engage with that, and then you will have to trust this person to fully know you, with your goals, with your interests, with your preferences, with your standard ethical values, all those things, right? And then can be the best research assistant for you as well, and give you the options, propose it, but you get to decide how much you dedicate the decisions to this person.
during test best. Get practice right now with the AI.
So, and how to even potentially surfacing information opportunities better that let you thrive with your creativity and let you rethinking about your goals out there. Um, I think technology is all neutral. It depends on how we build the product or how we shape the product in a way that can work for the best or work for the worst. We might be in one of those most interesting yet tricky times that we can no longer truly think what we build is just a tool that's neutral, might take some stance or help the users to better make decisions to take some stance, because the ultimate values for humans to remain will realize on how better discernment, in the age where the information is really hard to tell the truth from lies by just the quality of the production of that information, to the better discernment from truth and lie, and also better independent decision making out there. So do we make technology to make humans do those parts better, or do those values worse, is going to be how we're going to shape it.
That's awesome. And actually, yeah, basically it's all connected to everything. And my last question, I would say, because we have, a couple of minutes left. And what I wanted to ask is, far we're already talking about the future, and it's always cool to open your own podcast like a couple of years after you recorded it, check your thoughts and see whether you were right or wrong. And how do you personally see I won't even say crypto market. I would say economy of the world in the upcoming, let's say, 10 years. Are we going blockchain mode on, or you still think that it's gonna be like separated like crypto market and non-crypto market? How you personally see the development of the economy in the world, and whether we as blockchain enthusiasts gonna take the major part in it?
I'm more optimistic in this area. I think that the TradFi and DeFi line is getting blurred and will continue to get blurred. And that's the best, because you actually don't want tribalism. You want the technology to be used in whichever context that it fits the best. So the more the line is blurred, it means the more adoption and opportunity that you actually getting involved. Maybe at some point we stop talking about this is crypto or this is TradFi. It's more about this is store on chain or off chain. Like, where do I find the verification of it? Or even forget about the whole thing. Just like, hey, your money becomes your digital number on your apps, and then that becomes the norm. Then you forget about saying, is this actually a fiat money or this is a digital money? I think we're moving into that direction. The more we forget about that this is crypto, then it means that it's getting the right adoption of it. And I think with the Wall Street in the US definitely has lots of interest. And many of the government around the world is super interested in getting the right policy and potential approach to how to modernize their financial systems with the technology as well. So with so much governmental interest and also with the traditional money players' interest, I'm very optimistic that the blockchain world will get much bigger or even fundamental role to play in the world to come. Specifically, how the way in, I think there's a lot more variables to draw the specific path to it. Um, Bitcoin as strategic reserve may help. That might first just help that this one asset class to be rivalry with gold, or even gold becomes crypto too, like a lot more gold backed coin that potentially will be a strategic reserve that other people use. I think those specific details will be very interesting to watch out. If we know all of this, the world will be boring. The direction that the blockchains and the cryptos will get more and more involved and serve as the fundamental role in the future of the financial system. I have no doubts about it. So it's quite exciting in the next 10 years to see how everything will come into the shaping.
I think it sounds like an amazing finish for our podcast. We had a little bit of this, a little bit of that, thought about a future, talk about Trust Wallet and about your development guys, and dive deeper into your personal path. So, Pavel, maybe some last words on your side before I can wrap it up.
Yeah, thank you, everyone. It was extremely insightful discussion. So interesting. Like I think that our audience will be happy to hear a lot of insights about the Trust Wallet, especially your path and the your vision on the market. Because I feel that people currently seeking for some kind of north star, like because in this uncertainty on the markets, people are seeking for some like ideas, what to believe, what the people think right now, how to stay in this uncertainty, what to believe. Yeah. So thank you so much. We can wrap up and probably.
Yeah, yeah, sounds good. Thank you guys for having me here. It's pretty exciting. I just hope that some of the directions for the industry can make people think longer beyond just the price that they're seeing in there. You guys probably in the industry for a while too, right? Cycles come and go. And then don't let it disrupt your emotional state and the mental state. And then as long as you believe that in the longer term, the fundamentals is there, then I think that's the most important thing. And then just stay in the game, right? Like don't quit, don't leave, don't burn out. This is what in some of the transitional of the market moments people experience significantly of it. And for my personal story, I just hope that whichever young people out there listening to the story, um, like career path is no longer one track. Go ups and downs. Be open to new opportunities. And then take pay cuts if it is the right learning experiences and never set your limit. Don't say that I cannot do this. I don't have experiences with that. Just try every opportunity to learn. Do the most scrappy things and insert yourselves to learn. Ultimately, even I told my teams and tell my family too. I'm happily walk away from the title and the role that I have every day. I'm okay with it, and that gives me the freedom to actually try to make the best decision that I can have in this position. Not due to ego, not due to because of this is particular position, title, power, influence, or anything. Because things come and go. Your title, your job, none of those things define who you are.
Or cryptos.
Maybe I would say your characters. It's also a C word. But like you can live rich, you can live poor, but then what kind of person you become ultimately matters. So if you're in the uncertain crypto time, how do you practice perseverance and clear thinking? When it's in the top of the market, how to practice being humble, humility, and continue to think clearly. So I think those are the most valuable thing in life. And then we just happen to be very lucky to be in crypto for this contest to be able to practice and exercise all those stuff.
It sounds like an amazing finish. It's literally like quote unquote unquote. So, Ewan, thank you so much once again for being with us here today. It was extremely insightful podcast, and I loved it myself. And I really had bunch of insights for my personal development. I hope that for our listeners, it was the same. So, guys, for all of you who were here with us for this entire hour, thank you so much for watching it. Subscribe on our YouTube, leave some comments, and just show some love. And remember that in Colo, we show faces, not just talking to spaces. Have a good one. Cheers.